And welcome back to Rain or Shine Farm. Doing a garden tour today. Thankfully it is 6 p.m. here, my time, so the sun is no longer on most of the front yard where the garden is. I have some starts outside I'll show you, and then we might get some wildlife viewings. I heard the coyotes back last night, and I feel like I saw some in the back of the property, so perhaps maybe it was just a deer, but it looked low to the ground, so maybe I'll try to catch those too. The eagles have also been out, so we'll see. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and see how the chickens are doing, so I'll cut to that now. Right, let's go see how the chickens are doing. You get to see our tall grass. I have some paths carved out, but not one to the chickens right now, so you can kind of see where we've been walking. So yeah, we have lots of tall grass here. We have some daisies. I don't know what this yellow is exactly. And what else? There's some wild peas that have purple flowers. I don't think there's any over here right now. Hi, chickies. They've been hiding, staying cool. Okay. So this is their electric fence charger with the solar panel, although right now it's very not in the sun. Hi guys. So here, I'll show you. Hey, it's okay. So I turned off the fence. They're excited. Hi guys, you hungry? There you go. I have some grub treats they're very into. Right guys? Here, I'll put some in your water. Here you go. So I don't know if I brought you all the way in here before, but this is their mobile chicken coop. It's Justin Rhodes' Plans Mini Chickshaw, I think. So it uses these crates for egg baskets or nesting boxes. So we got 2 nice clean eggs in here. They do still kind of sleep in here at night, at least in the nest box, which is not ideal. But most of these chickens, well, all these chickens came from our old property, so they're very used to their very wood secure coop. And this one is more open, which is nice when it's hot and everything. It makes it nice and light for mobility, but they don't quite like it as much, so they don't always do what they're supposed to, but that's that. So it has plastic roofing for when it rains, and then it's got these big old wheels, so they're like no flat wheels, to make it nice and light. And then it's got hardware cloth around kind of the front of it, and we have a chicken guard which opens their door automatically every day and closes it at night. And then they have a little, they can hop up there to go in, and then this part, let's see, this part closes. Guys, be nice. So yeah, and then they fit in through here, and this is where you can see it's gross. But we moved them around. Yeah, hi Helen, this is Helen. She was one of our OG chickens, purchased in 2020 when we bought our old house. So she has personality. They all do, actually. But she's the most head chicken. That's it, guys. Then we have Suki and Louise and Madeline. And those guys are all named after Gilmore Girls characters. There you go, guys. These are grubs. They're like freeze-dried grubs. All right. So we have this nice lovely sway of grasses in the breeze. Let's see if I spot any of the wildlife out here. So yeah, they've been in this space for probably a little over 2 weeks. Usually we move them about once a week, but because the grass is so tall right now, they still have shade and stuff, so we'll move them soon, but it's slightly less pressure. And then I turn their electric fence back on. You can hear it clicking, and that helps to keep them slightly safer during the day and night. And back to the house, and I put the eggs in my pocket. But yeah, it's very lush here where the chickens have been before. And then, oh, there's some of the purple key flowers right there. And there's some there. And then here's our little human trail. Oh, there's some purple ones too. So yeah, those are some wild kind of pea. And then we've been mowing our sort of lawn area, but as you can see, looking back this way, the deer like it because they can walk back there and we cannot even really see them. So yeah, kind of back, if you just follow the line past the chickens where I was walking, where it starts to get shady, that's where I saw some critter earlier. The critters like to cross the back of the property, which is right before the creek. So they cross out of the trees, but they don't like being exposed. Sorry about the wind. Let's see here. I can stand over here. It's less windy. Yeah, so usually I can just kind of see them as they go down in, let's see here, this part right here at the back, like that little divot before they go back into the woods. But yeah, nice time of day right now. Not so hot, and we have a breeze, which we normally have a breeze on this property, but yep. All right, let's go to the front again. Starts hardening off today. We have hollyhocks, pumpkins, sunflowers, peppers, and marigolds. And these are all things I grew from seed. Ideally, they would kind of all be out in the garden and a bit bigger by now, but we had a warm, I guess we had a late frost this year, but then it's been like warmer than usual. So sometimes I don't even put any of these guys out in early June. And so I've just been a little behind, but it's the neighbors' chickens. But yeah, so these are ready to go out. So, you know, I have peppers out already, but these are ones I started from seed when I finally got some more seed that was newer. I'm still looking for the wildlife in the back to see if I see them. Okay, let's head to the front now. So these are the grubs that I give the chickens and the ducks. And I just refilled our container. So they are dead when they're shipped. You can grow your own, but it's a different kind of operation. So I'm gonna bring those out to the ducks. Say goodbye to the messy garage for now. All right. So once I come around the corner, the ducks are gonna be loud, so get ready. There they are. Hi guys. Get to limbo under the fence string. Hi. Who's aggressively sneezing? Hi, wow. Who's going in? Come on. There we go. Our adult ducks, so the one that's jumping at the corner there, that's brown and white, and then the one in it, they know the drill because I've been giving them treats every day for a long time. There, she's smarter, figured it out. The rest, they understand that they can go up the ramp because they do it other times, but I swear they just don't get it for the treats. They just try to reach their beaks in. Maybe if I leave, they'll be a little more adventurous. But, hi baby! I don't know if we've announced the ducklings' names yet. So we have Violet and Veruca, who are the two adult girls. There's the one at the corner and the one in the pool. They were named after Charlie and the Chocolate Factory characters. And then the other ducklings, we named them after 7 ancient wonders of the world. So we have Baby for Babylon. These two are hard to tell apart. So they're Artie for Artemis and Hari for a really long name that I'm trying to remember. That's Alex for Alexandria. That's the Colossus of Rhodes, the brown one. Then we have the Pyramid of Giza, the whiter one. And then Zeus is the black one that kind of has the white front speckles. And we're pretty sure he's a boy. We think Alex is a boy. And then one of the two black ones, I think, is a boy. They just look different, and one's way bigger. But yeah, they're only, let's see, we got them at the end of March. So March, April, May, June. We're coming up to the end of June. So they're almost 3 months old. And they are as big as the adults now. You can't really tell them apart by size. So they still sort of flock separately, as you can tell. The ducklings will hang out with each other a little more, and the adults will hang out with each other a little more, but they also flock by color sometimes. Okay, let's go and do the actual garden tour now that I've teased you with farm animal content. I don't see any eggs. Okay, guys. Alright, so I watered last night after it was kind of like this when the sun was off of it. So we have a bunch of the wild peas here that the bees are loving. We haven't weed whacked them back yet, but the potatoes are doing well. Sorry, there's a loud plane. Oh yeah, look at that. Massive. Flying right over our house. So yeah, we learned we live in the flight path of most flights going like north and south. So from like California to Seattle or area. But we also live somewhat near Joint Base Lewis McChord, which is in kind of like south of Tacoma. So we do sometimes get the military planes flying over. But anyway, so these are yellow thin, I think they're called. So yellow potatoes, so kind of like a Yukon Gold. Like you can tell, it's interesting the different colors and shape of leaf. So these ones are like a bit yellower. They have a more round leaf. And we have kind of better germination over here than over here. Although perhaps I just ran out of potatoes on this part. And then over here we have all blue, I think they're called, which are a blue potato. So kind of like if you've ever seen purple ones, these ones are actually blue on the inside, or kind of purpley. And you can see some deer have walked through my garden. So I think they did eat off a bit of tomato plant over there, but I think other than that, they have abstained. So again, it's part of our getting the fence up, but so yeah, you can see the poles. in the back, the black poles, and then we actually have the fencing material over there. We're gonna start on it tonight to putting up the actual mesh. So yeah, these are looking good. There's some flowering over here, which is a good sign that they're getting closer to being done. They're still fairly small plant-wise, so I think the ones near the house that are in the bags, they're starting to die back actually. So that's kind of how you know that they're getting close to done. We need to weed whack on these beds a bit. I have some butterfly peas right here. My kale's doing well. This is the tomato that they chomped on. It just looks like they cut kind of everything above there, and it is on the edge here. And so if they did walk through this bed and make their way this way, then yeah, they may have chomped on that. So my peas are going. They look okay, but there are definitely no pea pods or flowers yet. Although maybe this right here is, yeah, gonna be a flower soon. But these were started later. Onions, the tomatoes are doing well. Again, we're almost to the point where you could tie them up. And then there are definitely tomatoes on them. So here's a big, this will be a big slicer one. This is the Dr. Witchies. And then these are the cherry tomatoes, and there's some over there actually already forming. And again, these plants are getting bigger. They've been fed. I fed them last week with like a liquid fertilizer. And then also I had some granules that you can kind of see on the ground here. It's better to mix them in, but I just kind of watered them in. These onions are looking good. They're bulbing, so you can kind of see here. The pansies are looking nice. Yeah, things are looking a bit better nutrient-wise. The chickpeas have definitely grown since I last saw them. So the other thing we did is that, so we have the pool, you know, in there for the ducks, and we have, actually I'll walk over there. My cosmos, they look so good. And the dahlia is actually blooming that I started from seed. Goodness, the wind. So yeah, we have a hose connected to the out of the duck pool here. So it's like a water trough for livestock, like cows, horses, etc. So it has like a big valve here. And so we got a hose. It's like just like a garden hose attachment. Then it has like a cap on the end of it, and so we have it up like this, so it doesn't have too much pressure draining out. And then so last Friday, we drained it as much as we could. As you can tell, the valve's not all the way at the bottom, so we did drain it mostly. So I put in drainage rock. And I dug a trench in the run, so in this area from there to there, and then out, and then we kind of have like a ditch here that goes around the whole front of the yard and over, and then through a culvert at our driveway, across, and then into the ditches that run back to the creek. So this is kind of how our rainwater flows. So we have this. So we drained it kind of into here, and then I started actually gathering some of it. Just brought my watering can over and started gathering it. It's sort of, so duck poop or compost is considered cold compost, which means you can use it directly on plants. It's not so strong that it's going to burn them or anything. So like chicken manure is hot compost, which means it needs to be broken down with like other material before you can use it on the garden. So that's another great reason for us to have ducks here. They have cold compost, so I could actually use it directly on the plants. So I did choose to do that. And I'll probably just connect a hose to it in the future and kind of put it on the plants directly. With the watering can, I had a bit more like precise feeding, I guess, and I did do it kind of in the evenings like this, so it has all night. Generally, you don't want to like fertilize, especially not a liquid fertilizer, your plants in like the middle of the day in the heat, because if it's on the leaves of the plant, it can really like cook them. But actually, yeah, like things are looking bigger over here after everything being fed last week. So again, these are a lot of sunflowers here along the back. That's a really big one there. Then we have beans across the trellis, pumpkins, and then same across the way. We have loofah. Sorry, it's out of focus. There we go. Loofah and birdhouse gourds popping up here. So like a crafting squash. You can make them into birdhouses when they're dry. Here, like I said, pumpkins, some beans with some other stuff. And then all of these beans are going, and they're getting their little tendrils now. So first they pop up these leaves, then they do kind of more like a stem and like a true leaf, they call it. And then they start to get their little twining bits, and that's how they will wind themselves up the trellis, and they will definitely get all the way up and probably slightly over the top. They usually don't start to make it down the other side, so that's kind of why I have stuff on both sides. Here you can see I have beans and some pumpkins, so we'll see how they compete. The beans are obviously going to be vining first because they already are doing it, and you don't really have to train them. Like I just put that one there, but the beans are pretty easy to, they twine, so they will wrap around. These are butternut squashes. So all my squash seeds are up. These are loofahs, and I did actually plant more loofah seeds, so this is a weed. But I will be looking out for those because these do not look great. I don't know if they just had transplant shock, or squashes don't really like their roots disturbed, and since loofahs kind of fall in that category, I don't know, they might have not appreciated that, but they really have not done much. And maybe it also just, it's been cool at night, so they've maybe gotten some frost damage, or freezing damage, not freezing, cold damage. And then the peppers, they're doing okay. They also got fed. They don't really like their leaves getting wet, and that has definitely happened lately. But my carrots actually in this other bed look quite good. I did a whole line here of carrots that I should thin out. So if you're gonna thin carrots, so obviously this is like a bunch of carrots that would be right next to each other, so you can just take kind of like every little one out. You can also wait till they're bigger, and then when you pull them, you can kind of have like baby carrots. But yeah, you can either sew them like this and pull them. I wouldn't try to like transplant them or put them anywhere else like from here. You can do that with some plants, but again, carrots as a root plant don't really like their roots disturbed. The forage is doing okay. And yeah, things are looking good. I feel a little bit better about them after feeding them last week. Yeah, and then the grapes back here. So yeah, I watered everything with the sprinkler last night. But these guys have oyas where you can fill them with water to just give them a little extra. So they still got a little moisture there, but if we look down in there, let's see. Oh, you can't tell, but anyway, I can tell that there's like a little bit of water just from it shimmering, but there's not a lot. So most of it, that means, has like drained through the plant into the ground. So containers, they just dry out more in the summer. They don't have all of the, what's the right word? Protection of soil all the way around them. Obviously these, you know, it's a smaller plant in a big barrel size container. It's so windy. But yeah, we'll look in here too, but I think they're about the same. So there you can kind of see there's like a little glimmer reflection, but not a lot of water. So you basically just take the hose and fill those up. I use these a lot for my blueberries because blueberries generally like to stay a bit more moist, or at least like they can't handle the heat unless they have more moisture. So yeah, and then yeah, we just have progress on the fence. So we have poles, we had ran wires at the top and the bottom, and that's how we connect the mesh. We bought wire wrapped mesh for our fence because we have a lot of kind of like bigger predators, or just a little more pressure, especially because we don't have a tractor right now, so our grass is very like high around things, around the edges, and then in the corners we have these like bracing, and then we ran the straight. Check on the wildflower patch back here. The wind. Oh. Let's see if it'll be protected by the wind at all back here. Not really. Something just ran off. Sorry. Let's see. Okay. I see some of the sunchokes. There's one right there, still alive. I watered them twice last week. Over here, and then we have all the daisies and the peas. There's definitely like burdock and thistle, and there's clover down here with grasses, daisies, all stuff that I did not plant that just showed up here. The grasses are getting tall enough that they are starting to fall over. But yeah, it's pretty nice back here. I see the bees on the sweet peas. So yeah, I like that we have a little like secret garden here. I don't really see any seeds coming up down here, but it has been quite dry, and it's like too far for me out here to drag a hose out to right now. I don't have any hoses long enough, I don't think. So I could maybe drag the hose for next time I do the pond. But also if it just rains over the weekend, that will help. But yeah, it's pretty, we have clay soil, and over here it's pretty dry because it's like cracking. So this is some different kind of soil. I don't know if they brought this in or if they had like dug down here, but as you can see, it has like a natural bare spot basically back here for who graded the property and stuff before we got the house. So yeah, it's kind of incredible. All of this grass like has grown, obviously, but like all of this has grown in the last like month or two. If I look at old pictures, like satellite photos of the house, it's just like dirt here last year. So this is just what's around and seeds itself. We did have the chickens over here a little bit last year, in kind of the late summer, early fall, but then I caught a bobcat stalking them. It was like in some of this, not this tall grass exactly, but like this tall grass, which was more like 2 feet, maybe 3 feet tall. And I weed whacked it a bit, but I just felt like, okay, well, I don't love that, so let's get them out of these next to the woods, because the bobcat just kind of ran off into the woods over here when I saw it, and the ravens were like alerted me to it. I didn't even see it until I came outside and it ran off. So that's kind of wild. And yeah, I didn't see the coyotes at all. They don't really come up close anything to the house, at least not during the daylight, but I'll see if I hear them tonight. I'll let you know. But yeah, here's the fence progress as of right now. So we have posts, we have wire for like about half of the garden right now. Oh, I just saw there's an eagle over there. Let's see. Can we zoom in? No, this way. There you can kind of see up high. So yeah, that's an eagle. I think a juvenile eagle. I can't tell.